eBridge Connections, we're up here in Ontario, Canada. We've been around for about 22 years, for just about as long as the song Life is a Highway has been out. So you can think back to when that song came out. We've been doing EDI integrations. We have about 600 customers, and we just reached almost 60 employees, and we're definitely growing. So we've done connections for folks trying to sell their products within Home Depot or Sears or Target, for example. And then in the last few years, we started really focusing on e-commerce platforms. So we cover a bunch of the popular e-commerce platforms like Shopify, WooCommerce, Magento, Amazon, eBay, you name it. So we have about 800 connections, which is pretty amazing, and that cover CRMs, EDI trading partners, and e-commerce platforms. All right, we'll move on.
Hello, I'm Mark. I'm the Channel Development Coordinator here, the Partner Manager. So as Lindsay said, we have about 600 plus employees. They include John Deere, H&R Block, Everlast, Coleman, and they fill the large, medium, and small size markets.
Next slide. All right, and so if you were to take one thing away from this webcast, and thanks again for joining it, we didn't thank you all for taking the time, it's this slide, and that is that by being a partner of eBridge, it means that you can say to your clients or your leads that you integrate anything and anyone with any accounting system or ERP. And so what do we mean by this? We really do integrate anything, meaning all of the e-commerce platforms, all of the CRMs, anyone being a long, long list of EDI trading partners, Home Depot, Costco, Sephora, you name it, we've probably done it in the past, with any accounting system or ERP. So we service about 40 today, and that's the Sages and the Epicors and the Microsoft Dynamics and the SAPs of the world and more. All right, so here's a list of the e-commerce packages. Sometimes it's nice to just see the logos. It's a bit of a NASCAR slide. But these are a lot of the e-commerce platforms that we service and CRM. Now go to the next slide, and these are the big EDI trading partners that we support. But again, there's a very long list that we've done business with before. And the last one is our ERP and accounting packages that we support. So I named them off, but here they are in a list. There's many more. These are the ones that we find are very commonly used. And now we'll get to eBridge. So we're excited to say that we are really the first and only company that can provide universal integration. So that means that clients use us, and they can add or remove connections or connectors as they grow and change. So I'll get into more detail on that. So here's an example of somebody who would come to us who, for example, had SAP as their ERP and switched to Microsoft Dynamics GP, for example, and pretend that they have an Amazon shop and a Shopify store. And now let's pretend, as I mentioned, that they switched over to Sage now. So their company is growing and changing. Now they're using a different ERP. And at the same time, they also added an EDI trading partner, Target. So see, as you can see, as we go here, they're still using eBridge. Your customers can still maintain the relationship with us and you, and they can change and grow and scale as they go. So some of our 600 customers have, say, 2 trading partners, and some of them have 50. It really depends on the scale of the business. But all the while, they just simply use the connectors that we built and maintain, and they just plug them in as they need them. And here's the last slide, which is we maintain over 800 connectors, so you don't have to. And that's really speaking to you on the phone that are our partners or potential partners. You know, that really is where we live, the space we like to play, and that's maintaining and building these connectors. You know, we definitely don't implement and deploy ERPs, and we definitely don't do any setting up of websites or e-commerce stores or CRMs. You know, all we do all day long is just help pass data from one to the other. So we're definitely not competing with you in the same space, but rather helping you move client data back and forth. All right, I'm going to pass it back over to Mark.
So why a lot of our customers choose eBridge is we have the lowest cost of ownership. There's no custom map that you have to build. Everything's ready-made, or you can really create your own if need be. And then, like Lindsay was saying, as you upgrade your systems and your accounting packages, you just plug that new version in and we're all ready to go.
That's right.
And then touching again upon sort of who we are is we're really responsible from start to finish, and having, you know, that growing number of employees up to about 60 now are all in-house. We can literally get up, walk to the other side of the office and touch base with whoever you need us to speak to. So we really do everything just completely end to end.
Yeah, that's our favorite point, is that we're all in the office. We're all sitting in one location. So just as Mark said, if you have a problem, then whoever you're working with, your account rep, for example, can literally stand up and walk over and talk to the person who's working on your client's implementation. Another example is there's a few folks that work here that are playing ping pong out front of our our door right now. So we're a tight-knit group, and everyone works hard and works together. So you're getting a good group of folks to work with too when you partner with us. All right, I get to take you through an example of an order processing through eBridge's ePortal. So our customer is, an example customer is Everlast. They make boxing gloves. So pretend that you're a consumer and you'd like to purchase a pair of black gloves for Christmas. So on the web store, all that a customer would see would be obviously their web store e-commerce site. So they click on the gloves and they put in their Visa and they'd enter their customer information and then they'd press submit. And then through eBridge, this order enters as a document, one line item under Everlast's account in our ePortal. And then we push the data from that e-commerce site all the way over to the ERP, which is, in this case, Microsoft Dynamics GP. And the order is processed. And so without eBridge in the middle there, it would be somebody manually entering this data and updating inventory levels, that sort of thing. So here's another example of a touch point, we like to call them. So this is when the tracking, or the product has been shipped, and we'd like to update the tracking number to be pushed to the customer so that they can check it every 10 minutes if they're very excited to get that boxing gloves in the mail. So that information updates in GP, in their ERP, it gets pushed through our ePortal and translated into information that their e-commerce site can read. And it pushes the tracking number to the client. So again, without eBridge in the middle, somebody over at Everlast would be doing this manually. So this stuff happens very quickly. We process very fast, say every 5 minutes, for example. And so it really, on the back end, it makes happy customers. And then you're probably wondering what a typical flow of integration with eBridge looks like. This is one of the first questions we get when we partner with a new agency or VAR. And so here it is. I'll just go through it, and again, ask any questions you have while I'm speaking. The first is, once a customer signs with us, we set them up with an ePortal account. So I'd previously shown you Everlast, and so we would go ahead and set one up, and everybody at that company would have access. And the next thing is we would go and pick the accounting system, and we would set that up. So in the case that I just showed you, it was GP. And then we would set up any trading partners or e-commerce platforms or CRMs that they would like to pass data to and from. So, for example, they could add WooCommerce and Amazon, for example. And then eBridge configures some business rules, and then we do some testing and we push it to production. And then once the client is live and they're getting orders, they have support from somebody, again, in this office building. And I think our hours are 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., but there's always somebody ready to help on this side of the fence. All right, so I'm going to do a short demo, too. And I'm just going to show you, let's pretend we're a customer. So customers log in through our website today. So they just go to eBridge Connections and they go over to the very top of the page and they click ePortal Login. Let's pretend to do that. And I'm logging in as the account eBridge Demo GP. But obviously, if I was Everlast, my account would say Everlast. So I'm logging in. And the one thing to look at is trading partners. So if you look over to the left, there's a few rows of hyperlinks. The last one in this section is always the ERP or accounting system that is being used. So in this case, it's Microsoft Dynamics GP. But if this customer decided to change down the road and they wanted to change it to, say, Sage 100, we would literally just remove that and add in Sage 100. And then you can also see the trading partners. So in this case, our demo customer is using BigCommerce. But when we go into the portal and look at a customer, for example, Ital Pasta, they have about 50 in this column here. They sell to Metro and Costco, and you can imagine all of the EDI trading partners that they would sell to. They're all on the list. So that's always ever changing, so as they're adding and growing and scaling. So if we want to go and take a look at what an order looks like through the portal, you would click on the document number here. So I have this pretend hand clicking on that number. So eBridge pulls up an HTML document of that purchase order. So this is one person's order through eBridge portal. So you can see all the information that the client provided in order to purchase that or make that order. So it would be how much invoiced, how much paid, billing address, customer name, email address, all that information. Now when I go back into the portal, if I want to see the details, I click the blue button. Now this is not something that your customer will always click, but I want to show you a little bit of detail about what eBridge does to make that data flow from one spot to the next and translate properly. So here on the left, let's pretend that's BigCommerce, and that's an order coming from BigCommerce. In the center is what eBridge has done with that information. Our ePortal translated it into XML, or what we call XCBL. It's a form of XML. And then we translate that information so that it then can easily speak to Microsoft Dynamics GP, so that the information goes from one side to the next and you got all the details in the fields and the data correct from one spot to the next. So that's what we do. So that's an example of one of our connections that we maintain. And so you can always go back in and you can see the status of each order. So this one, for example, at the very top was posted, meaning it was pushed. And type 850, that's an order. So that's as deep as I wanted to get in this demo. I wanted to show you the portal. There's tons of information in the portal at the ready of your customer. And for the partners on the phone or the potential partners on the phone, we'd love to show you more detail. And we can even do a demo that's specific to one of your customers or one of your leads. So if they're using Magento and Epicor, we actually have a demo environment set up, and we can do a one-on-one webcast with you anytime this week or next week or whenever you're free. We'd love to dive deeper with you. All right, so we've taken up about almost 20 minutes of your time now. I'm going to pause, and Mark's going to talk a little bit more about our eBridge Partner Program.
So some benefits to you as you look to move forward as we get into a partnership, or for those of you that are already partners. One big thing is that you get to really speak to your clients and express that you yourself offer universal integration through us, whether that's posting our logo on your website and being able to post it that way, or just simply expressing it to them as you're talking to them and trying to close that potential client. Another big thing we like to do is you can leverage some co-marketing with us. So we love to share blogs. We love to do all the social media. And then you can utilize essentially our base of contacts as well to really help grow your business through, again, our social media or our newsletters, which we can customize to specific platforms. So if you're a Magento partner, you want to hit all of our Magento contacts that we have. If you've got some content that's Magento specific, you can send it to us. We can look at it. We can look at sending it in a newsletter blast specifically to all of our Magento clients. And then big thing, one of my favorite things is you get paid for every time that you refer us a client that we actually close. So you can collect a referral fee through our partner program. Then as far as the training, we'll do about a 5-week education process with you, where we'll send out a weekly email, whether it's some blog posts or white papers or just general information just about eBridge, about integration itself, to help brush you up on the topic so you can sell better to your clients as well. And then, as Lindsay said, as we move forward, if you wanted to get into a deeper level of demonstration for specific platforms or specific ERPs, you just let us know what you're looking at doing, and we can book a technical demo with our
sales engineer.
Thank you, Blair, who's more than happy to sit down with you and go through all those details with you at a later date.
Great.
So the best tool that you really have moving forward to kind of get yourself started to keep in either your pocket or to distribute to your salespeople if you have a listing of salespeople that try to promote your business is our integration blueprint. So this is where you can really go in and you can select exactly what systems you're using, what versions, and really dive down into exactly the type of integration you want to do. And you can really see it all completely mapped out. So for example here, if you're doing your inbound sales to your outbound orders, you simply go and select what you want to do. You hit map touch points. And then you'll get this list that breaks everything down to you. So this is going to be your first point of contact as you're just going through that inquiry process. You can always give us a call or shoot us an email as well. We're more than happy to go through this with you. But if you're strapped for time and you really need a quick answer, this is a good starting point for your salespeople. And as well, it's a great training tool for them to just simply see how many combinations we can possibly do under this roof.